Zelda speedruns are very well known for their glitches. The extremely underrated remake of Majora's Mask is no exception. I will explain the route and the glitches used to help you understand what goes on in the speedrun a little more. This video will cover the current no wrong warp any percent speedrun, not to be confused with the any percent speedrun that does moon warp. If you enjoy this video, please consider subscribing and checking out my Twitch channel. With all that out of the way, let's start Majora's Mask 3D any percent. We start off the run in first cycle, which unfortunately is still unable to be skipped, just like in the original game. That doesn't mean there isn't anything interesting here. After doing the intro sequence, log parkour, and getting turned into Deku Link, we head off towards Grandma. We listen to her story twice to get into day 3. Then we head to the Scarecrow and dance with him until nighttime. We now activate the owl statue, get the stray fairy, and enter Stockpot Inn. The reason we do all this is because there's a silver rupee chest in Stockpot Inn that you can only access at night of the 3rd day. Now we have money to buy a bomb bag and bomb juice, which will be very useful throughout the run. After that, we head to the fairy fountain to unite the stray fairies with the rest of the fairies and receive magic as a reward. This is required in a bit because we will need the ocarina from Skull Kid, and the only way for him to drop it is by hitting him with a bubble which uses magic. Now that we did all this preparation, it's time to do the first glitch. We will escape Clocktown early, which normally you can only leave once you're Human Link. By putting Deku Link in a flower and making him fly, any item you equip to a button will glow, indicating it is usable. Deku Link is not able to use bombs, but by equipping them mid-air and pressing the bomb button on a specific frame, we can pull out a bomb. Using this bomb, we can do a Deku Flower Slide. Placing the bomb a certain distance from the flower and then holding R to shield, we wait for a 2-frame window. The frame where the bomb is big and the frame after that are the only 2 that will work. On one of those frames, we need to press A and hold right while still holding R. What this does is send Link super fast to the left, where we can maneuver past the guard to exit Clocktown. The glitch keeps Link underground, but allows him to move, which is why he's able to go under the guard. Time is ticking now, because we need to get to the southern swamp before midnight. We can do a combination of spinning and backwalking, which is the fastest form of normal movement besides Goron Link rolling. There would normally be a few minute cutscene outside of the road to southern swamp, but there isn't during first cycle. When we finally get to Southern Swamp, we activate the owl statue and learn the Song of Soaring. Because we have so much time to kill before midnight to enter Clock Tower, we have enough time to get the song. This cutscene lets you use the ocarina even though we haven't received it yet. Now we have the issue of getting back to Clocktown. We can do a death orb back there. By taking damage at the Deku Baba and dying past midnight, the game will put us back in Clocktown. Our next problem is entering Clock Tower. You normally need to go on a quest to get the Moon's Tear to give to the Deku Scrub in order to unlock the flower he hogs. However, we can do a gainer to skip all that. By holding L, letting go of it a frame later, and pressing A and holding down, and then a frame later pressing L and forward, we will do a gainer. Link will do a backflip, but he will stay close to the wall and gain enough height to climb up to Clock Tower. We finally come face to face with Skull Kid to defeat him and beat the game. Just kidding, we hit him with a bubble to get the ocarina and have the memories flood in. Link remembers Zelda teaching him the Song of Time, which we will now play to get back to the first day. After traveling back in time, we talk to the Happy Mask salesman, who teaches us the Song of Soaring, which reverts us back to human, but with the Deku Mask to freely transform. After some more cutscenes, we finally start the fun part of the run. The first major item we need is the Goron Mask, so we head to Snowhead. We pick up some bombs before being stuck at ice blocking the Snowhead region. Normally, you need to break it using the bow, but we can do a precise side up to get up the seam along the side and maneuver around the ice. We make our way up to Mountain Village, which is only one house, so I'm not sure why it's called a village, and activate the owl statue so we can warp to it. We need the Lens of Truth to get the Goron Mask, so we head to Goron Village. Here we do a bomb jump to skip some of the invisible platforms and then jump across the remaining ones without the help of the owl. In the cave, we get bombs before getting the Lens of Truth and warping back to Mountain Village. We use the Lens of Truth to see the ladder to climb and enter the Goron graveyard. We use the Lens of Truth near the grave and play the Song of Healing to steal the Goron's face. The next 2 items we need, we can get at the same time. We now warp to the southern swamp and roll to the Woods of Mystery. Rather than following the monkey, we can just get straight to Koyume because the route is always the same depending on the day. After talking to her, we can go to Kotake, who will give us a potion to heal her. After going back and healing her, we will have an empty bottle and warp to southern swamp. We break grass to obtain a stick and catch a fairy in our bottle. We will need many bottles to hold all 7 Zora eggs later on. Collecting multiple bottles is extremely slow, so instead we dupe them. This glitch is called ESS duping. We hold ESS position so Link turns without moving. While he's holding out the bottled fairy, we press the bottle and then immediately the lens of truth. This dupes a bottle over the lens of truth. We do this twice more on the Deku Nuts and Bomb Juice that we got at the start of the run. Now that we have 4 bottles, we enter the Swamp Tour Center. Talking to Koyume will give us the Picto Box, but also start the boat cruise. It's possible to skip this by backwalking to the door after entering and then targeting Koyume and talking to her. Link is outside the cutscene radius, so it doesn't play, which prevents the boat cruise sequence. The next thing we need is the Zora mask. We warp back to Clocktown and exit out the south end. In order to enter the Great Bay region, you need to do a bunch of quests to get Epona and jump over the fence. However, we will just go under it. Using another flower slide, we can have Link travel through Termina Field and under the fence to enter Great Bay early. Here, we head to the ocean to save Macau from drowning, even though he's a fish. Fortunately, we were too late and he dies, so we can just play the Song of Healing to steal his face as well. Now we go on our egg collecting journey. In order to enter Great Bay Temple, you must ride on a turtle that can only be awoken from the New Wave Bossa Nova, which is learned after bringing all 7 Zora eggs back to the Marine Research Lab. So we head there to activate the owl statue and then swim to the Pirate's Fortress. In order to get to the Pirate Fortress interior, you need to go through the sewers. We can skip that entirely by doing a bomb jump and mask storage mid-air. We do a bomb jump and press B, then A a frame later, which gives us enough height to get on this platform. We then roll into the Pirate's Fortress. And here, we start off by hitting a woman down here, climbing the ladder, hitting another woman before entering the interior. If we continue through this hallway, a cutscene will play. We can do a trick called Pace to zoom past the cutscene radius. By placing a bomb, nudging into it as Deku Link, taking a picture, and then pressing A twice, Link will get sent flying across the room past the cutscene. Here, we can hit the beehive with the Zora fins to scare off the pirates and get the hookshot. First egg is right here in this room. We then leave the room and do a precise side hop to the next room. We get the second egg here. To get the third egg, we will do a glitch known as Goron Missile. It uses the Goron Mask, Hookshot or Bow, and Picto Box, which is why we got all those items. Here's how we do it. Pull out the Picto Box and aim where we want it to go, then swapping the Hookshot, an unusable item, with a bottle, a usable item. When we exit the menu, the Hookshot will be highlighted as if it's usable, and the bottle will be grayed out as if it's unusable. Then, by pressing A, Hookshot, and A in quick succession, it will pull out the Hookshot and curl up Goron Link. By moving forward and press B, we will perform a Goron Missile. These will be used heavily from here on out to skip puzzles and move extremely fast. We get the third egg in this room. Once we leave, we hookshot this post and perform another Goron Missile to this small corner. Inside the room is the fourth and last egg in Pirate's Fortress. Entering the room from here actually skips a pirate fight. We now warp back to the Marine Research Lab to drop off the eggs because all of our bottles are full. From here, we will do a Goron Missile into the Pinnacle Rock loading zone. We don't have the Lens of Truth because we ESS duped over it, so we have to swim through this area blind. Once we get to the main area, we kill the 3 eels and steal their eggs. We will keep these eggs with us through a few temples. It's time to do the temples. The first one we will do is Woodfall Temple, which requires the Sonata of Awakening to erect from the ground. We warp to Southern Swamp and use the last bottle to get spring water. Then Goron Missile past the Octo and get sucked up by the other one. We can roll the rest of the way and enter Deku Palace. We talk to the guards as Deku Link to get past them. Then we can Goron roll past the next 3 guards. We can skip a majority of the Deku Palace by backflipping onto this door frame. From here, we can backflip onto this platform and enter the King's Chamber. We can talk to the monkey and learn the Sonata of Awakening. Once we get kicked out, we warp to Clocktown and enter the Fairy Fountain. Why would we do this? It turns out, all the Fairy Fountains are on the same map. The Clocktown one, Woodfall one, Snowhead one, Great Bay one, and Ikana one. The game only loads the one you enter, but all of the loading zones are still active. So we do a Goron Missile to clip out of this Fairy Fountain and into the Woodfall one. We can then roll into the loading zone to be put into Woodfall. This trick is known as an alternate exit. From here, we can do a Goron Missile to the platform. Here is where we play the Sonata to raise Woodfall Temple, and then we activate the owl statue. We do another Goron Missile to enter Woodfall Temple. This temple is pretty simple. We Goron Missile past the first and second rooms. Then we enter the Los Alfos room and kill it for the bow. Now that we have the bow, we can kill the bosses at the end of the temples. We can enter the boss room from this room. Doing a Goron Missile on a slant gives Link height. By doing a Goron Missile on the flower, it will give Link a ton of speed and also height, so he can enter the boss room. The Oldoa fight is simple. You throw a bomb at it to make it jump, While Dolwa is mid-air, its shield isn't blocking projectiles. We shoot it 5 times and then shoot the eye 5 times and repeat that for 2 more phases. We now receive Oldolwa's remains and enter the Giant's Chamber. Here we learn the Oath to Order to enter the moon once we have all the remains. The next temple we do is Stone Tower Temple. After the cutscenes, we are placed at the exit to the Woodfall Temple. We can do a Goron Missile to get back into the Woodfall Fairy Fountain. We will be doing another alternate exit, but this one is different. Each fairy fountain is in the order you are supposed to go to, starting from right to left. The Woodfall one is second from the right, and the Econo one is 5th from the right. This means we have to travel past 2 fairy fountains to get to the Econo one. We then roll up to Stone Tower Temple. We hookshot the post and do a Goron Missile to gain enough height to reach the entrance to the Stone Tower Temple. This temple is pretty crazy. We head to the room on the right, but we are faced with a sunblock that's supposed to be hit with a light arrow to remove. Instead, we can dump the spring water onto the block, and that will remove it too. We need a small key to get through this next door. We swim as Zora Link up to the switch to spawn a chest. Inside the chest is a small key that we can use to open the door. Inside this room, we will do a new glitch. First, we pull out a bomb, instantly drop it, and instantly pull out another bomb. We place this bomb a decent distance away so they don't blow up at the same time. We then go between the bombs, hold R to pull out shield and crouch, and hold Pictobox button. When the first bomb explodes, we let go of R button and then let go of Pictobox shortly after. This is a way to get first person glitch. We then go to the corner on the left, we hold L in hookshot. Without holding L, it will get rid of first person glitch. We then press hookshot a few times and Link will go through the wall. What's happening is the hookshot is able to constantly extend from its original position every time you use it. This means if we keep firing the hookshot, it will extend through the wall, hit the crate, and pull Link through. In this next room, we could just fly through it as Deku Link, but that's slow and boring. Instead, we do another flower slide to go under this wall and head to the next room. Here, we fight the Garo leader, and once we defeat him, we get the light arrows. These are required to flip the stone tower. The boss room loading zone is only in the inverted stone tower, so we need to go there to beat the temple. Now we play the Song of Soaring, which, when played in a dungeon, warps Link back to the beginning of the dungeon. We exit it and shoot a light arrow at the gem to flip the temple. Once we re-enter the temple, we head right again and we are faced with another sunblock. This time, we have light arrows so we can just shoot one to remove the block. We do a Goron Missile to get to the other side of the room and skip using a flower. From here, we can do a Goron Missile to enter the boss room and fall into the loading zone. Twin Mode is a very scripted fight, so there's not much to it. It's split up in 2 phases, one where you fight the blue one and one where you fight the red one. We can beat the blue one in 2 phases, by shooting its eyes and then shooting its big eye once it emerges. Once we do that, a chest will appear containing the giant's mask. Unfortunately, it's required to beat red twin mode, so we have to use it. As Giant Link, we throw the balls and punch red twin mode to do the fight in 3 phases. The fight is supposed to be 4 phases, but for some reason, if you spin the circle pad as you spin twin mode, it makes the fight only 3 cycles. Once both twin modes are defeated, we shrink back down to normal size Link and grab the remains. After the Giants cutscene, we warp to Great Bay and drop off the 3 eggs that we've been carrying this whole time. We can now learn the New Wave Bossa Nova. From here, we do a Goron Missile to Zora Cape. We swim from the coast all the way to the turtle. Playing the New Wave Bossa Nova will awaken the turtle, but also play a cutscene. There's a double frame perfect cutscene skip that we can do to skip it. First step is to place Link right outside the loading zone to Zora Hall. Then we place a bomb to the left of Link and pull out the guitar on the frame the bomb explodes. We now play the New Wave Bossa Nova and open the bomber's notebook on the frame the music sheet disappears. If done correctly, Link will get hit by the bomb and sent into the loading zone as the cutscene starts, which skips it. When we go back to Zora Cape to get on the turtle, there's another cutscene that will play once we land on the turtle. But if we hookshot onto a specific part of the turtle, we can get on without the cutscene playing. Now to activate the cutscene to enter Great Bay Temple, we slash our sword against the tree to push Link into the cutscene radius. But we pull out the ocarina before the cutscene has time to play, and play the Song of Double Time to change the time to night. This will activate the cutscene, but reload the scene to skip it. Now we can hookshot the tree normally to enter the Great Bay Temple. Unlike the previous 2 dungeons, there's nothing we need to do first before going into the boss room. So we just do a Goron Missile to enter the Georg loading zone. This fight is also split up into 2 phases. We first shoot Georg 5 times until the eye pops out and then shoot it 3 times. We do this for 2 more cycles. Right as phase 2 starts, we do a quick cycle by chasing Georg and hitting him. The next 2 cycles are done by tricking Georg into swallowing bombs. We finish this temple off by picking up the remains like the previous temples. We warp to the Woodfall Owl after watching the short Giants cutscene. You do a Goron missile from here into the fairy fountain and then perform an alternate exit to the Snowhead fairy fountain and leave. The Snowhead fairy fountain is below Snowhead Temple, but there's one issue. In order to walk around to get into Snowhead Temple, you need to learn the Goron lullaby and play it for the big Goron so it falls asleep and stops blowing Link. That whole sequence takes many minutes, making it very slow. Instead, we perform a lullaby skip. First, we head over to the ramp that leads up to Snowhead Temple. We hold L to target it and hold forward. When Link starts to climb up, we press a mask button and hold R. What this does is store the mask transformation until we let go of shield. But we go into the inventory and put away the mask. The game never updates Link's state because he never used the mask, so it keeps the last state, which was climbing on the ramp. When you're climbing on the ramp, the big Goron's blows do not affect Link, so they do not affect him when he's walking now. While you are climbing, the A button on the screen says down, and stays when we perform this glitch, hence the name Down A. We can now carefully ascend up the ramp and into the temple. The dungeon starts off simple by pushing the block and killing the bows. Then it immediately takes a twist with Action Swap. There's ice blocking a door to the main room. You're supposed to melt it using fire arrows once you get those later on in the dungeon. However, Action Swap also allows us to melt the ice too. How it works is it combines the fact that a stick can be lit on fire and an arrow to make you shoot an arrow that's lit on fire. We do it by going up to a save statue, pulling out the hookshot or bow, and crouching. From by pressing stick and immediately A, the game will pull out the stick and interact with the statue directly after. Then we go towards the ice and pull out the bow or hookshot that we pulled out before. From here, we hold stick and then L to target immediately after. Then when we let go of stick, it will shoot an arrow that's on fire, not to be confused for an actual fire arrow. Once we're in the main room, we can do a boss key skip to enter the boss room at the top of this area. Rather than following the pattern of doing a Goron missile to the loading zone, we do an extended hookshot. This one is a bit different because we don't have anything that's able to be attached to the hookshot like the crate before. This time, we aim the hookshot up at the loading zone and hookshot a few times. Then we go to a nearby torch, which is an actor that can be attached to the hookshot. We then hold L and hookshot and then let go of them at the same time, which we do by opening the bomber's notebook and letting go of both of them. What happens is we get sent to the last extended hookshot position saved, which is at the boss room loading zone. Once in Goat's Lair, we do another action swap to melt the ice he's covered in. There's no statue to press A on for action swap, but all you need is a text box. Here we set a tattle alarm and wait for it to go off. We can use that text box for action swap. Also, it should be noted that we set the alarm at midnight or later, so the clock tower is open once we finish the dungeon. The goat fight can be very quick if you do it right. We start off by chasing him and landing on him with our spikes to stun him. Then we shoot his eye with 5 normal arrows and 1 light arrow. We can stun Goat quickly again by shooting him with a light arrow and 3 normal arrows. This time we do only 4 normal arrows and 1 light arrow to the eye. For the final cycle, we stun him and do 5 normal arrow shots and 1 light arrow shot again. I bet you think I'm gonna say something along the lines of now we get the final remains and watch the last giant cutscene, and in that case, you would be wrong. We can actually do a cutscene skip to pick up the remains and not watch the cutscenes after picking it up. We do a Goron missile and pound onto the remains to pick it up and clip through the wall. There's no collision past the wall, so we fall down into the void and void out. Since we voided out, it reloaded the room and removed the text. Now we can warp back to the beginning of the dungeon and leave. Now that we have beaten all 4 dungeons and gotten all 4 remains, we warp to Clock Town. We enter Clock Tower and face off against Skullkid again. This time, we can play the Oath to Order and the 4 giants will come to our rescue and stop the moon from destroying Termina. Only instead, we get sucked up into the moon along with Majora. On the window's background, also known as the moon, we roll over to the children. We talk to the one wearing Majora's mask to enter the boss fight. The first phase of Majora's mask is pretty simple. You throw Zora fins at it to stun Majora and then hit it with light arrows. After doing this twice, it will awaken the remains to target Link. We can just ignore them for now and finish off this phase. The second phase starts off with shooting all the remains and killing them before they can interfere with the boss fight. We then shoot Majora and do a stun lock by doing a series of Zora attacks to prevent it from running around. The third phase is very quick if done correctly. We shoot Majora with a light arrow to stun it, and then punch it as Goron Link with a certain rhythm to stun Majora and finally finish the run. This has been the any % no wrong warp speedrun of Majora's Mask 3D. The tricks used in this run are some of the coolest I have ever seen. You can catch runs of this game live on my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/futurelander. Thank you for watching. See ya.